Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel.
It's the excitement day.
Oh, it's the day. The day.
Turn the key.
And fingers crossed this bugger fires up. Now everything's back in place. I've gone over all the electrical cables, all the pipes, and we've got all the fluids in it and there's no leaks so far, so very happy with that.
We are.
And we're just now, our main job is to try and prime this fuel system to give it the best chance of starting up as soon as possible.
Yes, because we're not 100% sure, but we're told to crank off
the
injectors and then fuel will come through and that should clear the airlock. We've got this thing here, but we don't really know what it is.
No, so we're going to turn the key and see what happens with this self-priming pump, see if anything happens. And if it doesn't, then we're going to crank off the injector lines and let the air come out of those themselves. So we'll move in and let's crack on. So we filled the fuel filter up best we could and then tried to fiddle with the injectors since no fuel was going to the engine. All it turned out to be was that the fuel filter was actually only half full when we thought it was all the way full. So we filled it up to the top and then gave it a try.
Yep. Fuel coming. It's coming. We got fuel coming. We got fuel coming. Yeah, right, hang on. Right. Keep her going. Mickey runs! Oh, you've done so well. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Oh, you have done so well.
Oh my God.
You did that. You did that. You did that. Listen how slim it is.
Right, let's have it off and get the air box off.
Oh, Mickey boy, he lives. He lives.
Right, so as you've seen, that engine fired up and my God, were we happy.
We weren't, it's a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. Now, you're probably thinking, oh, the series has just come out, but we did film the series a little while ago, didn't we? So, Mickey, as the old Merc here, he's had some serious testing. He's been driven 3,500 kilometres now.
Yes.
And it's not like it was just started up and went, was it? No. We started it up, we drove it outside, and
there was a little bit of a time pressure, and the time pressure was he was going to Germany and he was flying from Lisbon, we're in the Algarve, and you were determined
to part.
You were meeting a mate of yours, weirdly. Mate of yours had come to Portugal and you were both going to fly back together.
Yes.
And he wanted to go in Mick. So we had this time pressure, and could we get the... Funny enough, the engine, sweet as enough.
The engine,
Gearbox.
Yep, touch wood, the engine has been perfect.
Yeah.
In fact, it runs smoother, we're sure, due to the engine mounts than the last one.
Yeah, I think it's down the engine.
It's absolutely wicked on, you know, you can't even feel it when it's running. But the initial problems we had was once we'd taken it outside and did our lap, drove around really nice. Of course, I was barely touching the throttle.
We didn't even think of camera work.
No,
I was so excited.
No, the excitement completely took over for about 2 weeks, in fact. So I drove it around the block and it drove well, seemed normal. Then we used it a little bit in and out, starting it up and whatever, but we didn't use it as such. Then we took it around the block and I decided, oh, I'll give it a little bit more of the berries because I'd literally not even gone over 10, 20. And then it realised there was no power. There was nothing at all, was there? That was the first issue we ran into, was no power And to be fair, when we first bought the car, that had a problem as well, didn't it? It had a problem where the turbo just wouldn't work. You know, it's like the turbo wasn't working. So we ended up trying to trace all the vacuum lines, because before we knew the turbo was fine because it was running on the other engine. So we traced all the vacuum lines, and we found at the top there, you can see the little module next to the cooling tank. I'll get a little close up of it. There's a tiny little pipe on it, and it wasn't connected. I mean, we got so lucky we found it. We put that in, took it around the block, and we had vacuum pressure.
And full power.
Full power. Anyway, so we had lunch, we had spent the day here. I said, oh, go on, I'm going to take it around the block again. So I took it around the block, had no power. And we were going, no, and that was plugged in. Then we were really stumped, weren't we? So we traced them for literally every single line. And the last point was where it went directly into the turbo actuator. And it had the tiniest, literally a slit in the pipe. So we just chopped that a little bit shorter, popped it back on, and it's been perfect ever since, isn't it? The turbo pressure, that is. So that was 2 really lucky finds in that day. And since then we've had a little coolant leaks. We had one which we should have changed, well, I should have changed when I did the engine, but skimped on one thing, literally forgot one thing. The lines that go from the block of the engine to the alternator, that's the word I'm looking for, to the alternator, there's 2 O-rings on each end of it, and there's no clamps or anything. They're sort of just held in place, and they were perished, so they were leaking, so I had to take I can't remember the name of it, alternator, or I had to take the alternator off and put new O-rings on those. So
they were quite,
we got those
from the Mercedes.
They were nice.
The ones that were on there were knackered.
Yeah, in fact they just cracked off.
Wasn't in existence.
No, so glad we changed those and haven't had that leak.
We should have spotted, because I was looking at those as well, we should have both spotted that.
Yes, yeah, we should have, but the new ones, touch wood, haven't leaked.
Nope.
And then we ran into our main only big problem was the gearbox, wasn't it?
Yep.
We had funnily enough, a big problem with the gearbox. We were going, well, I've just done the engine, and why is the gearbox going funny? And the gearbox was, we drive it around, it felt fine, and we drive it home. We get nearly home, which is about how far? 30 kilometres?
20 miles.
Yeah, and we get literally to the same spot every time, and then the gearbox would just start holding the revs, and it wouldn't shift gear. It would go up to 3,000 even if you let off the accelerator, and God, that stumped us, didn't it? Forums, we were on everything trying to find that problem.
Yep.
And you ended up going on a forum, and there was quite a helpful man on there. I don't know his name, but
Robbie Roberto.
Was
on the UK, the W163 UK site. And he is such a helpful bloke.
God, he must have given us 10 different things to try. And
to clear the code, so we bought a big code reader thing. The money, because we didn't read it.
No, that's true.
That, we wanted it anyway.
Yes.
There was no codes, and we were going to go to the Mercedes
specialist. This was a week before Christmas, wasn't it? And God, that would have been a nightmare. But then
the Lisbon trip was getting nearer and nearer.
It was, and we spent, what was it? Must have been 2 weeks, 2 and a bit weeks of driving it, just thinking. We got the oil level we thought was right. Everything was going.
The other thing is, this doesn't have a dipstick on the transmission fluid, so that was becoming a pain in the neck for us. We kept thinking we got too little fluid. Then we thought we got too much fluid.
Yeah.
And we were getting quite stressed over the fluid, weren't we?
Yeah, because obviously
I was getting very, because my wallet was in cardiac arrest because we were using Mercedes fluid.
Yes. So
every time we dropped, in fact, I got the 3rd degree off his mum, my wife. The credit card bill for December, where we kept buying pounds of bloody oil.
The Merc parts man knows us by name. He goes, "Oh, more oil, yeah, all right."
More oil.
So no,
bottles, though.
Really not. We've kept them, of course. They're worth a fortune. But the gearbox was just causing a nightmare, and we could not get to the bottom of it. And we tried everything that Robbie had mentioned, and then we were stupid, really. We meant to check the temperature all the time to see if it was overheating. He told us to.
He told us to check the temperature, and we did check it.
We did check it, but
it was 89.
89, yeah.
Which we didn't think was that bad.
No.
Then he really kindly, and we've got it on the board at the back there, really kindly sent us a picture of a dipstick and where the measurement should be.
Yes.
And the temperature of the oil. We were being thick by not paying full attention to the temperature.
Yes.
One day,
it's because there's the plastic under tray on, and you need to scan obviously the sump of the gearbox.
Yeah.
So by the time we should have done it when it was running, but by the time I'd turned the car off, taken that plastic thing off, it was a lot cooler.
Yeah.
And sort of didn't really cross our minds. I don't know why.
And then one day we came in one day and
We said, oh, let's
dropped some oil, didn't we?
Yes.
For whatever reason, we decided to drop, and it just looked a bit brown. And I said, well, that Robbie had told me that
burnt.
And it didn't smell horrible. It just didn't look
Right.
Didn't look brown, to be fair. It just didn't look quite as pinky red as it should do. And we were just thinking that would be dirt.
Yes.
But we then checked the temperature, and it was
whilst it was running.
It was 88. That's too hot.
Yeah. And then I said, oh, well, we'll double check. I'll take it around the block and bring it back. And it was 95 or something, wasn't it? It was way too hot. And we went, oh, it was that all along. So it was heating was our problem for the gearbox. So once we sort of realised that heating was the problem, we didn't have too much fluid in it. What could it be? The only thing there is the gearbox oil cooler, which the fluid flows through, and there's one of them, and it's underneath the intake manifold in the engine bay. So
which you've already had off 3 or 4 times.
Which I have, yes. Yeah. So I said, oh, great. And funnily enough, once I realised it was that part, it's the only one that we didn't take off of the original ML engine. That's the one off the scrapyard engine. And the water system of the scrapyard engine looked a bit brown, which we've shown earlier in the series. And the one off our ML, I went and looked at it.
Keep talking.
It is immaculate. So I decided, right, that's got to be the problem. So I spent Christmas Eve, wasn't it? I spent Christmas Eve. I was so determined to get this thing working. Christmas Eve, I stayed all evening and stayed the night before Christmas Eve to get it all done. Stripped the engine apart again, put it all back together, and then the day after Christmas, I did have Christmas Day off. Day after Christmas, obviously got it running again, and thank God it started. And because obviously you got to take the whole top of the engine off again, and it was an absolute pain in the ass.
Well, you've bored most people in the submission now. Probably there's only 2 people left watching it. But if you're interested in the part, that is what was causing all of our problems. Now,
so that has.
I've already sat this in vinegar for probably a month. But you can just see in that hole there, whether you can see or not.
You can see the state of that banana-shaped bit where the water touches, can't you?
That one we put on because it was really, really clean outside.
Outside.
Hands in the way. Really clean on the outside. We didn't look on the inside.
No, so that one caused all of the problems for us. Now that has engine oil flowing through it. It's on the back of the oil filter. That's literally bolted to the back inside the engine bay behind the oil filter. So engine oil, transmission fluid and coolant goes on through that bugger, and all the fins must cool it, and that one, the fins are full of brown sludge. So that was causing our problems, and since then don't think, only one other little issue was on the coolant reservoir, tiny little leak. I just put a stronger Jubilee, in Lisbon, put a stronger Jubilee clip on, and since then he's been running like a charm.
You've been to Lisbon, you then went to Germany, you caught COVID, so you didn't come back.
No, so it had 3 weeks sitting outside.
So 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then you started it, you've driven all around Lisbon in it?
I have, I did 1,000 kilometres near Lisbon.
Yeah,
so,
and then in and around, so stop-start traffic, motorway.
Yes.
You then come back from Lisbon, eventually.
Yes.
Flew from Germany back, because you left it in Lisbon.
Yes.
You've driven back here, and then we've dailied it for the last couple of weeks.
Yes, yeah, we have, yes. And it's been running an absolute charm. The engine only, under initial load, gives a tiny little bit of black smoke, but it's a diesel, so that's normal, and literally it runs clean.
Really?
Other than that, yeah, and it's way, way, way smoother than it was. The engine mount. So overall, I think we've transformed it.
Yeah. So the story doesn't quite finish because we're happy.
We are.
So we've already had so this has got. So obviously we're calling him Mick. So Mick's turbo is still in here.
Yes.
The turbo that came with the one we got from the scrapyard has already been
sent off and refurbished.
It's been completely refurbed with ceramic bearings.
And it's also got a lighter, more aggressive fin in it. Yeah, so that should be, I'm well excited to get that on.
So the next instalment will be that's going on, and we've got to get an exhaust made.
Yes.
We'd
like it to breathe a bit better, yeah.
Yeah, so the next instalment in him, because he's running well, we're still going to give it
till at least the next service.
Yeah, so we'll do a full service on it. We're happy, then it'll go up to Lisbon.
It will get, I'm hoping to get the turbo installed, exhaust put on, and I'd like them to just give it a remap to make it run that nice sweet. It's not like I'm looking for mad power. We'd like the throttle response a little bit quicker. Just little things like that, because the pulling away, the turbo delay, which the new turbo should help in itself, and just a little remap or something, just to give it a little bit more, you know, a little bit something, you know. I mean, why not? You know, why not?
But overall, I think you've done a fantastic job, because I was no help whatsoever.
Nope.
Most of it, you lived here.
Yes, I did, yeah.
I like my comfortable, but you know, I'm not going to live in a man cave.
No.
So,
no, I did stay, you know, I did stay here a lot. And it was all day with you and all night till midnight. And then my friend who I met in Lisbon, then he called me and I might play PlayStation. But other than that, I was here working on that the whole night.
Yeah. So, but it's been fantastic and a real achievement.
Well, it's the most adventurous thing we've ever done, for sure.
Well, I say I didn't. I was there in spirit.
Yep.
But
you're good at cleaning stuff.
I did some cleaning and a bit of painting. That's all I did. But I think you've done a fantastic job. I'm well impressed.
Yeah. So I think we may as well end the video there. We've been gabbling on nicely for a while.
As we do. We've had the coffee.
Yep. And I think after this, I'm going to put a little couple of him driving off or driving past, just so you can hear how sweet it is, because it does sound really good.
And he's put some what's it? Arctic fuel. He has the fake exhaust police, so you can watch when you look at it. He's put the fake exhaust tip on it, so it looks like a 55.
Yeah. Half a 55.
It's got this big pipe on the back, as you'll see, but the exhaust actually comes out underneath. It doesn't even.
No, it doesn't even blow out. No. So I've put the fake one on. That was my excuse. That was a little test to see what sort of exhaust tip I want when I get the exhaust done.
Good call.
Yeah. So that's it for Mickey. Well chuffed, and hopefully not too long, I'm hoping, the turbo will go on, and that'll be a good little video as well.
Mainly for our own enjoyment. It certainly didn't get any views.
No, got no views at all.
Then W163s never get views.
No, very rarely do they get views. But like we say, it's just for our own amusement. And man, what a result! That's what I say. Yeah. What a result! I'll shake your hand on that one. What a result!
Yeah, nice one.
Yeah.
So anyway, we hope you enjoyed it. We certainly did, and we love Mick. So
he's back to life.
He's back to life, and many years he's our.
It's just he will always be the favourite, I believe.
Yeah. Well, I said to him, you know, I'd like him to be sitting in front of it when he's my age, and you still got it, even if it doesn't go anywhere. It sits there.
Yeah. So hopefully I will. But we will catch you in the next video and enjoy a couple of little rolling videos of Mickey Boy.